Mr. Umop, and I'm really sorry this took so long, but I am quite lazy. Anyway, thank you for all the stuff you put in the comment section of my last video, and now without any further ado, here is another top 5 Australian mythological creatures. Number 1. Kaneda. As you can probably guess, I pronounced that quite wrong. Anyhow, also known as the Quoll Man, the Kaneda either has the top half of a human and the lower half of a quoll, or is a quoll with human limbs. Now, if you're not from Australia or simply don't know what a quoll is basically a cat/possum with the personality of a wolverine. In saying that, a lot of art that I found kind of just summarized this as quoll fairy. Now, the Kaneda, though described as a hunter, was really more of a predator, for it killed anything it saw living in its path. Now, wherever I looked, there was nothing saying where the Kaneda came from, whether it just appeared or was created in a dream time. But all sources seem to suggest that it was killed by a crow and an owl. They ambushed it when it went down to drink at a billabong. But, the Quoll Man didn't die. He actually shrunk down into what we know as a quoll today, becoming the father of all quolls. Number 2. Devildinger. Now, if the Aringer is the werewolf of Australia, then the Devildinger is the direwolf of Australia. Most famous from a book written by Dick Roguesky, it goes into the mythology of that once upon a time there was this giant dingo. And depending on where you go for what kind of article, it's either something that they tame and it becomes a normal dingo, or they kill it because it's terrorizing them. Honestly, if you get the chance, just go read the book. I couldn't, but the artwork looks really good. Babini Juarez. So this creature comes from the Tiwi people and is a giant that technically falls into the realm of Cyclopes. They are said to either live where the sky ends or where the sky meets the earth, in a hut. Now, it is said that when you see a shooting star, that is one of these creatures running across the heavens with a torch in one hand and a club in the other. And the main story of these creatures are about as hard to grasp as their name, but it's still really interesting nonetheless. So, like most Cyclopes, these creatures have a really good sense of smell. So much so that from their little hut all the way at the end of the earth, they can smell when someone has an infected or open wound. Now, some stories say that they will wait until the person is weak. Others say that they will run to the person, turn invisible, and keep licking the wound, making it more infected until the person is too weary to fight back. Once the person is weary, they will shrink down and climb inside the wound and start eating them from the inside out. Yum. Number 4. Malindi. Now, the Malindi are a solitary sort of spirit and prefer to be left alone, especially by humans. But if they lock eyes with a human or feel provoked in any way, they will kill on sight. Now, how they kill you varies. Some say that they will attack you with a stone axe, but the more popular theory is that they unsheath stone knives from their elbows and cut you to death. But luckily, you can hear them coming pretty easily. They're nocturnal and their eyes glow hellish red in the dark. Plus, they make this scraping sound. The scraping sound comes from their knees. Their knees are made of stone, they scrape together. Anyway, one thing that I found really interesting about this creature was actually a poem done by someone under the pen name of White Dwarf. Malindi click-clacks, skip, scrip, scrape, stone on stone, clip-clops. Two burning peepers, peeping, knees of rock that knock. Stay away from Malingi's mound, hollowed bones and hoarded furs, feathers and stones. Malingi's warning. Click, clack, it echoes back. In the bush whipped whack. Stay away, death is near. Whipped rocks rustle crack. A stone throw thrown. Too late, too late. Malindi is here. And number 5, mermaids. Now, according to the legend of the peoples whose name is up on the screen now, there were 2 types of mermaids. For the freshwater, there were Yaukyauks, and for saltwater, there were Jimodiwa. Now, the Jimodiwa were considered too sacred/evil to depict in artwork, so all the artwork on screen are just going to be the Yaukyauks. Anyhow, there is a bit of difference between the 2 species, obviously since you can't draw one of them. The Jimodiwa are said to be very mean and ugly, yet are also able to shapeshift into whatever they need. You can find them swimming near the rocky beaches at night, talking, singing, and screeching terribly at the moonlight. Now, an interesting little tidbit I found about the Jimodiwa is that they don't swim gracefully like traditional mermaids, but they bob. Anyway, in contrast to this, the Yaukyauks are considered protectors and caretakers of sacred sites, and actually tether the people's spirits to the land, but only if they respect the river, which meant no overfishing, no polluting, that kind of stuff. If you break any of those rules, the Yaukyauks will bring plagues or storms. They are said to have the power over weather, and are wives to the rainbow serpent. Now when it comes to looks, Yaukyauks aren't exactly your run-of-the-mill mermaid. Yes, they have the torso of a woman and a long fish tail, but they also have the fish's head. And their hair is made out of either seaweed or green algae. But this description isn't the be-all and end-all, because apparently each different water strait or piece of river would have their own Yauk inhabiting it, with its own unique look. But to go even further on that, they could shapeshift into whatever they wanted, though usually it would be either a swordfish, a crocodile, a dragonfly, and or a snake. Now, in light of all this, here are some just little flyaway facts that I found pretty cool about Australian mermaids. It is said in the Dreamtime that all animals we know now were once human, and through a series of events, all slowly became the animals that we know today. Now, since obviously mermaids are half fish, or in some cases algae, at night they can actually turn into fully humans, with the older ones actually being able to possess people. Now, consequently, people born with albinism are considered to be descendants or direct children of mermaids, so kind of like mermaid demigods, or demi-mermaids. And that just about wraps it up for this video. Thank you for watching, comment if you want, probably don't subscribe, that might give you cancer, and see ya!